Hi, my name is Alethea Elliott, and I'm the case manager here at Gabriel Network. I have been serving here for about 4.5 years. As the case manager, I handle our application and interview process for the maternity housing program. We have 3 maternity homes, one in Bowie, Maryland, which is PG County, one in Ellicott City, which is Howard County, and one in Gaithersburg, which is Montgomery County. Our Montgomery County home is currently closed and slated to reopen at the end of this year. Bowie is open and can house 4 women and their babies. Ellicott City is open and can house 4 women and their babies. We service the entire state of Maryland and Washington, D.C. So we service women from various counties, as well as Washington, D.C. My main role as the case manager is to work with the residents in our maternity homes to connect them with the necessary services that they need as they work towards greater self-sufficiency and stability. I work in our Bowie and Ellicott City maternity homes, doing the case management for all of the clients. I conduct a group case management meeting in each maternity home once a week, and then have one-on-one meetings with each resident monthly, if not twice a month, depending on the needs. A big part of this is helping them to navigate social services, which can be very overwhelming and frustrating at times. I encourage all of our residents to take advantage of the services that are available to them and that they are eligible for, as this will enable them and support them while they work towards getting back on their feet and being more self-sufficient. Government assistance has its time and place. It is a great resource and support for a time. This is why it was created. It was not meant to be a lifelong support, but one that is temporary while an individual gets to a more stable place in life. This should always be our goal when working with the clients. We should connect them with the necessary services and supports, but also be working with them and encouraging them to always be pursuing the next step, whatever that might be, for them to create a more stable and self-sufficient life that eventually is not in need of these services. As I cover this information, you're going to hear me use the term client. I even use the term resident when talking about the mothers that reside in our maternity homes. But for you as angel friends, this is the mother that you are serving. I want to give you guys a brief overview of social services, which is what most people refer to it as, but it is officially called the Department of Human Resources. The basic overview of the Department of Human Resources is the same in both Maryland and Washington, D.C. They are a human services provider. They help vulnerable individuals buy healthy foods, pay energy bills, and obtain medical assistance, as well as many other supportive services. They also provide stable environments for at-risk children and adults. You can call their main call centers 24/7. Here are the links to the Maryland Department of Human Resources and the Washington, D.C. Department of Human Resources. Both websites are very informative and easy to navigate. Now I'd like to take the time to cover some of the services that the Department of Human Resources provides in a little more detail. To me, these are the ones that are most commonly used by the clients that we serve here at Gabriel Network. Since we are covering DC and Maryland in this presentation, I'll do my best to point out any major differences that you should be aware of when navigating DC and/or Maryland. For the most part, the information and process is the same, but there are a few differences that I will point out. We did have a couple of questions during the webinar, and I'll be sure to answer those at the end. Food stamps, SNAP, FSA. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, called the Food Supplement Program in Maryland, which is formerly known as food stamps, helps low-income households buy the food they need for good health. Everyone has the right to apply for food stamps. The income guidelines can be found on their websites. Benefits are provided on an electronic card that is used like an ATM card and accepted at most grocery stores and some farmers markets. Applicants must file an application, be interviewed, and meet all financial and technical eligibility factors prior to issuance of FSP SNAP benefits. Some people who have little or no money may qualify for expedited food supplement benefits right away. They must have only an interview and verify their identity to qualify. To apply, you must file an application with your local Department of Social Services. Applications can also be filed by mail, fax, or you can apply online. All application information can be accessed on the websites. I would encourage you to have your clients apply in person or online. I see on a very regular basis when clients apply by mail or fax, their application never makes it into the system. When you apply in person or online, you'll receive a confirmation number that can be used to check in on the status of your application, etc. You do not get this when you apply by mail or fax, and therefore you have no way of knowing if your application ever made it and if it is being processed. The application process also moves faster if you apply online or in person. Temporary Cash Assistance, TCA, TANF. Temporary Cash Assistance, or TCA, Temporary Assistance to Needy Families, TANF. These programs provide cash assistance to families with dependent children when available resources do not fully address the family's needs, and while preparing program participants for independence through work. The family must cooperate with child support, participate in work activities, comply with substance abuse provisions, must meet financial and technical eligibility requirements, and earned and unearned income cannot exceed the benefit level paid for the assistance unit size. Sanction may be imposed for not complying with program requirements. The details of eligibility requirements and income information can be found on the websites. In April of 2018, Washington, D.C. increased the benefit level of families who have received TANF for longer than 60 months by eliminating the 60-month time limit. This distinguishes D.C. from any other jurisdiction in the nation by solidifying the value that keeping cash in the home protects children regardless of how long a family has been receiving TANF. The new TANF program guarantees that supportive services are available to the entire family. Cash benefits for children continue regardless of how long a family has been enrolled in the TANF program, and more rewards are available for parents who achieve employment and training goals. This is not the case in Maryland. To apply, you must file an application with your local Department of Social Services. Applications can also be filed by mail, fax, or you can apply online. Again, I would encourage you to have your clients file their application in person or online. WIC, Women, Infants, and Children. The WIC program is a supplemental nutrition program for women, infants, and children under the age of 5. WIC is a federally funded program that provides healthy supplemental foods, breastfeeding resources and support, nutrient-rich foods, immunization assessment and screening, referrals to health and social services providers, and nutrition counseling and education for pregnant women, new mothers, infants, and children under age 5. For women and children over 1 year old, WIC also provides fresh fruits and vegetables, May through November, through the Farmers Market Nutrition Program. The program has an extraordinary 40-plus year record of preventing children's health problems and improving their long-term health, growth, and development. You can participate in WIC if you are pregnant or breastfeeding, a new mother, an infant, or a child up to age 5. You do not have to show proof of U.S. citizenship to participate. You must meet income guidelines or medical risk for your family to be currently participating in Medicaid, Healthy Families, TANF, or the food stamp program. In D.C., there is a WIC pre-screening tool that can help you determine if you're eligible or not to receive benefits. To apply, contact the main WIC office for Maryland or D.C. to determine which location you should go to apply for benefits. Here are the websites. Childcare Subsidy Program, or Subsidized Childcare Program. The Child Care Subsidy Program is administered by the Maryland State Department of Education. This program helps income-eligible families pay for child care while working or attending school or in job training. For a complete list of eligibility and income requirements, go to the website. This is also where the application can be found, printed off, and mailed in to apply. In D.C., the Subsidized Child Care Program helps low-income families pay their child care fees. The child care subsidy is based on an assessment of need, income, and family size. In addition to helping income-eligible, working families, the Child Care Assistance Program also serves families who are receiving TANF and participating in education and training in accordance with their individual responsibility plans. These are also called IRPs. Teen parents seeking a high school degree or its equivalent, as well as families not receiving TANF who are pursuing additional education to improve employment opportunities and prospects. Parents must visit the Child Care Services Division to apply for assistance. The doors for the Child Services Division open at 7:30 a.m. and close at 4:45 p.m. Clients should be encouraged to arrive early for appointments. They have limited walk-in visits for new applicants, and they are available on a first-come, first-served basis. Encourage your client to call and schedule an appointment if possible. This will save them, and even possibly you, time if you're the one providing them with transportation. For a complete list of eligibility and income requirements, the address, hours of operation, etc., go to the website. Medical assistance, Medicaid. Medicaid, also called medical assistance, pays the medical bills of needy and low-income individuals. Applications for medical assistance programs can be filed at the local health department, local Department of Social Services, sometimes the doctor's office, and hospital social work departments. In D.C., to see all the available options for assistance, go to the following website. In Maryland, you can go to the following website to apply. There are also resources available that offer supportive services to clients as they seek to apply for medical coverage. These individuals will help them navigate their options and submit the appropriate applications, documentation, paperwork, etc. SSI. Supplemental Security Income, or SSI, is a federal income supplement program. It is designed to help aged, blind, and disabled people who have little or no income. It provides cash to meet basic needs for food, clothing, and shelter. Many times, due to a disability, our clients are eligible to apply for SSI benefits. There is a decent amount of legwork to be done to apply. Your client may need to have an assessment completed if they have not already had one done within the past year. For a complete list of requirements and all supporting documentation that is needed at the time of submitting an application in both Maryland and DC, please see the following websites. I want to touch on one more thing very briefly. The Voluntary Child Support Agreement. This means that if appropriate, you must have filed for child support and have the court-ordered documentation to prove it. Many times our clients do not want to file for child support due to various reasons. If this is the case and your client is a Maryland resident, there is something called the Voluntary Child Support Agreement. This agreement can be completed by the client and the father of the baby and submitted as an appeal. This completed document serves as appropriate documentation that both parties have agreed to the terms, whatever those might be, and then allows the client to still apply for services without officially filing for child support. To get a copy of this document, please see the website. I would now like to walk you through an example of what it might look like to go through the application process with a client when they are applying for food stamps or SNAP. The first step is to complete the application with your client. Again, I would encourage you to have your client do this online or in person so that a confirmation number can be obtained to check on their case. Once the application has been submitted, the next step will be for your client to attend an interview. This interview is done in person at their local social services office. Their appointment day and time will be mailed to them in a letter. Please make sure that your client has a good, stable address for their letter to be mailed to be sure that they receive it in a timely manner. The letter usually arrives with not much notice prior to their scheduled appointment, so it is very important for your client to be watching for this letter and for them to open it immediately. At this appointment, they should bring with them all necessary paperwork and documentation. If you do not have everything needed, this will delay the process, as they can't complete your case at your appointment. Have all supporting documents with you at the time of your interview and appointment. If you come prepared, then the office should be able to complete everything that day. Once they attend their scheduled interview appointment, and if they are approved, they will then receive another letter. This is their letter of approval. This letter will include the amount they will be receiving each month and the start date of when they will start receiving their funds. It is very important that once the client is approved, they keep all of their information updated and current. Phone numbers, addresses, additional children once they've been born, etc. We did receive 2 questions when we did the webinar, and I'd like to take some time now to address those. The first question was, what can the temporary cash assistance money be used for? Are there any stipulations put on it, any limitations? And the answer to that question is no. That is cash that is going directly into their bank account, and it can be used and spent on anything that your client chooses to spend it on. I would encourage you, if your client is receiving TCA or TANF, to talk with them about budgeting and what is a necessary purchase and what is something that might be just a want, also continue to encourage them to tap into the resources that can support them so that they don't need to spend their money unnecessarily. So again, the TCA and TANF cash is just cash deposited into their account that they can spend on whatever they want. The second question that we received was related to housing resources and wanting to know more about HOC, county HOC programs and things like that. And this question is really its own topic, and so I just want to take the time to kind of plug our next webinar that will address housing resources and specifically HOC and the various options through the surrounding counties and in Washington, D.C. when it comes to housing. This has so many different pieces to it. Each county looks a little bit different, and so this just warrants the opportunity to have another webinar in which we talk strictly about housing so that we can cover it as thoroughly as possible and so that we can give you guys adequate information so that you can support your clients.